What's up, friends? I'm Josh, and welcome back to the TCNR Network for my Scream 5 trailer sorta breakdown. So I was initially gonna break down the entire trailer, and I actually filmed a video for that, and it ended up being 30 minutes. Nobody wants to watch me talk, or listen to me talk for that matter, for 30 minutes, let alone 15 minutes. So hopefully this is going to be kind of short and sweet. I'm going to break down my favorite parts of the trailer, some shots I found interesting, kind of chronologically, but not really, and just see what happens. So let's get into it. So the trailer starts off with an amazing shot, a creepy house that kind of reminds us of the opening of the original Scream 1996. I love the vibes, the throwbacks that it gives to Casey Becker. And then we see, well, first we hear a phone ringing, and then we see the phone. And interestingly, the date on the phone is the day they started shooting. So I thought that was a fun little nod and a celebration of starting the filming of this iconic film, because obviously it's going to be iconic. Next up, we have our first look at Jenna Ortega's character, Tara Carpenter, who we all assume is going to be the opening kill, but I think we all think no, there's going to be somewhat of a twist with this opening. Now, this whole sequence is amazing and terrifying, and what I take away from it is that Jenna Ortega has everything that we need from an actress to execute this, to pay homage to Drew Barrymore's terrifying opening. And now it makes sense why Jenna Ortega said that she studied Drew Barrymore's opening sequence when she was on the Drew Barrymore show. It all kind of makes sense now that we've seen the trailer. But the look on her face, her expression, which is the same as the look on her face, her body language, even the makeup, the sweating, the hair, her breathing is already terrifying. And it's going to end up being one of our favorite opening sequences in this franchise.
Doors unlocked.
Now we all see that Ghostface is using technology to terrify his victims, unlocking and locking the doors. And this to me is the perfect way to advance Ghostface without going too over the top. It's scary. Just seeing that and seeing Tara Carpenter's reaction, it's terrifying. If someone unlocked my door, even though I don't have a smart door, I would be like, what the shit?
All doors locked. Doors unlocked.
Like, I would be losing it. So I think it's great. I think it's the perfect way for Ghostface to be using technology. Then we have our first look at Ghostface that isn't a quick little flash. He's taunting Tara. He's ready to go after her yet again. He's standing over top of her, and then we see her dragged away. And her facial expression here and the way that she's just moving and kind of twisting it's not repeating what we've seen in the past. We've seen many a victim get dragged away by Ghostface, and in other horror movies too. There was something just dark and different about this. And of course, the time we've all been waiting for, our first look at Sidney Prescott, just out on a leisurely jog.
Hello?
It's happening.
She gets a call from Dewey, and he says there's already been 3 kills. And we also get our first look at Dewey, and he looks a little disheveled and, dare I say it, divorced.
3 attacks so far.
Now, this line is what everyone is going crazy for.
Do you have a gun?
I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a gun.
I'm Sidney Prescott. Of course I have a gun. She's like, no shit. Of course I'm ready for this, because Lord knows it was bound to happen. Now we start getting our first look at some of these new characters that are being introduced. We have Vince, who's played by Kyle Gallner. We don't know his last name. I'm going to assume Loomis. He looks like a greasy Billy Loomis, a greasier Billy Loomis, and there's definitely a resemblance there. Then we get our first look at Samantha Carpenter, who is Tara Carpenter's older sister, who we believe is returning to Woodsboro after her sister was brutally attacked and or killed. We don't know that yet. And Sidney's returning kind of to save the day, like a Laurie Strode character who's been through this before, who's going to kind of, I would assume, mentor this younger group of teens that are now the victim and the targets of the new Ghostface.
Samantha? I know who you are. I've been through this a lot.
So the new group of friends that's going to be leading the show, we get a little peek at them. We saw them in the photos that were released a few days before the trailer, but now we actually get to see them with some movement and sort of in action. We've got Mindy, Amber, Chad, Wes, and Liv. It looks like they're in a bar or an arcade of some sort. I'm sure they're talking about the recent killings that have happened, and this might be our new fountain scene. And if you don't know what fountain scene means, then I'm not going to explain it to you. You're not a real Scream fan. And then we get our first real look at Richie, which, whatever. I don't know why I'm not excited about him and his character. Everyone else I kind of am, but I'm just kind of like, okay, the boyfriend. Maybe I'm just not giving him enough credit. Now, two shots of Ghostface that really stood out to me in this trailer are, of course, the silhouette of him being lit up by the headlights of Vince's car, and his silhouette is just giant on this brick wall. It's kind of just like, I'm back, I'm not messing around, I'm serious, and we've never seen anything like that before in the Scream franchise, and I just love the cinematography here. The second shot that stands out to me is very quick and very short, a blurry slow motion shot of what looks like Ghostface coming out of Stu Macher's house. And I love this callback to the original. I love that we're going to see a lot of Stu Macher's house. As we see later in the trailer, we're definitely going to get our fair share of the Stu Macher home. And speaking of the Stu Macher house, Sidney and Gail are back in action, partners in crime, maybe. Hopefully, sort of. They've had such a weird relationship to me, and I really hope this movie finally brings them together as a pair where they need to work together. They're always saving each other. One is saving the other, but then they still have this like love-hate sort of thing going on, and I would love to see them finally come together and take down a Ghostface in like, you know, badass bitch kind of way.
You ready for this? Never.
And I just love their interaction here. So these few little shots back at Stu Macher's house, we have Sidney looking at the house, you know, standing on that walkway that she stood on 25 years ago after being attacked, looking up to the house. Sidney pulls out a gun here. Who knows what she's shooting at, but they're still outside the Stu Macher house, and Gail just looks like she couldn't care less. Then we have Sam inside on the phone. It looks like there might have been a party here. There's red Solo cups all over the place, so I'm going to assume that there was some kind of party going on, maybe similar to what happened in the original, and everybody has gone home except for Ghostface and his victims. We got two little throwback shots, that iconic knife in the air, close-up of the hand, bloody knife, about ready to stab down on its next victim. Interestingly, though, this one is in the daytime, so is there going to be a daytime kill? And this one pays a little bit more homage with that chandelier in the background, blood on the hands, very Billy from the OG Scream. Now we find out a little bit about Ghostface's new motive. It would appear that he has killed 3 victims that are related to the original killers.
The attacks were all on people related to the original killers.
So Stu, Billy, and Roman would be one of the other original killers. So who could those 3 be? And if they're related to Roman, does that mean they're related to Sidney? And now I'm like, who's going to be related to Stu? I think Wes Hicks, it would make sense if Vince is related to Billy, because they look exactly the same. If Wes Hicks is, he would have to be 25 years old, though. 24 at the least. If Wes Hicks was Stu and Judy's son. And then Roman's relation, we're obviously going to have to wait and see. Now, this shot of Liv is extremely creepy to me. I'll get into it after. But we see every other main character in this, except for Gail and Sidney, being attacked in one way or another, or running from Ghostface. We don't see that from Liv, but we do see her looking creepy AF. If this is not a killer, I don't know what is. The trailer continues with some interesting shots at the hospital. Dewey and Ghostface are about to have a showdown. Ghostface is moving very creepily, like he's got one of those Sidney Prescott neck aches. So I'm curious to see if the reason is because he had a television dropped on him in the original, and he's got, you know, some damage from that TV. And obviously I'm referring to Stu here. So this line from Sidney saying that there's some sort of connection, some sort of relation to the past that has brought them all back. Obviously, something is going to be revealed from the very beginning that we didn't know before.
Whatever his link is to our past, it's pulled us all back here.
Similar to what happened in Scream 3, we didn't know that Roman was Sidney's brother, so I'm so excited to see what this insane secret could be, and I'm fairly certain it's going to be one of those gasping moments when we are not going to believe what we're seeing and hearing. So here's where everyone just starts to get attacked. We see what we think might be Tara Carpenter after she survived the original attack in a wheelchair. Ghostface pulls a knife on her. Deputy Hicks is in her car freaking the heck out. And I'm really excited to see this side of her, a more vulnerable, real side, not a caricature of a police officer or a sheriff or a deputy, a real human character. And I mean, Marley Shelton is insanely talented. Obviously, we can see that here from this photo. So I'm excited to see her hopefully have a creepy, scary chase scene with Ghostface. We then see Chad being chased out of a shed, being stabbed by Ghostface, Sam freaking out, Vince basically dead here, Dewey having a fight in the hospital, Richie getting knifed, Amber holding her stomach as though she was just stabbed, Mindy about to be stabbed and fighting for her life, but we don't see Liv. We see Liv being a creep earlier, but we don't see any interactions with her and Ghostface. Makes you think. So, to finish us off here, there are 3 shots close to the end that really stood out to me. Gail, she's freaking out. She's losing it. And we pretty much think Dewey's done for in Scream 5. And like, why else would she be reacting that way? It's daytime though, so maybe it's going to be similar to like the end of the first one when he gets pulled out on a stretcher, but this time he's not going to be breathing. One of the 3 has to bite it. They have to. And it's not going to be Sidney. And if Gail's freaking, then it's Dewey. The second shot that really stood out to me at the end is this one of Sam. She looks too intense to be a victim. I don't think she's a victim here. If anything, she is Ghostface, and she's trying to finish off either the other Ghostface or her final victim. But this just screams psycho killer here to me. Then the third shot that has just about everyone talking is this person on fire. We've never seen that ever in the Scream franchise, a fire or a person on fire. And it really does look like it's Ghostface. It looks like there is a black robe on the person. Of course, it's hard to tell when, you know, they have stuntmen that are like dressed in certain gear, but it looks like a robe. It looks like there might be a mask in there, and it looks like there might be some long dark hair. Sam. Talking to you, Melissa Barrera. Okay, closing us out here. We gotta wrap this up. I keep saying this is the one that everyone's talking about. Let's face it, they're talking about the whole entire trailer, but this final closing little shot is truly what everyone's like, oh my god. Let's look.
Hello, Sidney. It's an honor.
I'm like, what could he be talking about here? Hello, Sidney. It's an honor. It's an honor to meet you, or it's an honor to kill you. And we do see, if you look closely, that it is spliced together with Ghostface from the Tara Carpenter attack, spliced in to the Sidney. Obviously, they're not going to show us the real sequence. I've read that in context, when we hear Ghostface say that, it is beyond, and it's going to blow our minds even more. There is a little bit of a hidden detail here. Because that is Ghostface from Tara Carpenter's attack spliced in, I slowed it down. And there are blue/reddish lights, which look like police lights, that might be interrupting the Tara Carpenter attack, which then brings us all the way back around to Tara, finally, a victim, an opening kill, which isn't really a kill. She survives, which would then obviously confirm that she's in that wheelchair. So spoiler alert, Tara ain't dead. Now I'm winded. Now I'm out of breath. I gotta go hydrate. That trailer is beyond what we all could have imagined. No wonder it got over about 17 million views in one day. That is like unheard of. I still can't believe it. Pretty sure I was about 1 million of those views. I watched it all day long, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm so excited to see what other little teases we get, posters we get, and obviously for the film to come out. You know I have been waiting a long time for this. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure that you guys like, you comment, you subscribe. Is there anything that I missed in the trailer, or some parts that were your favorite and did not make it into my quick little breakdown? And by quick, I mean probably very long.